Have you ever told a little white lie? Maybe you said you loved a gift you actually hated, or claimed you were almost there when you hadn't even left the house. We've all done it. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Why do we lie, even about the small stuff? It turns out there's a fascinating psychological world behind every fib, from the harmless to the harmful. Today, we're diving deep into the science of deception to understand why people lie. First, let's get one thing straight. Lying is a fundamental part of human communication. Studies show that most people lie at least once or twice a day. It's not always malicious. In fact, a huge chunk of our daily lies are what psychologists call pro-social lies. These are the little white lies we tell to protect someone else's feelings, maintain social harmony, or just make an interaction go smoothly. Think about telling your friend their new haircut looks great, even if you're not a huge fan. You're not trying to deceive them for personal gain. You're prioritizing their happiness over brutal honesty. It's a social lubricant that helps us navigate complex relationships. Without these small, well-intentioned fibs, our social lives would be a lot more awkward and probably a lot more hurtful. But of course, not all lies are so innocent. Another major reason people lie is for self-enhancement. We want others to see us in a positive light, so we might exaggerate our accomplishments, inflate our salaries on a first date, or conveniently omit our failures from a story. This is all about impression management. We're curating a version of ourselves that we think will be more impressive, more likable, or more successful. Social media is a perfect example of this. People post their highlight reels, the amazing vacations, the perfect family photos, the big promotions, but rarely show the messy, mundane, or difficult parts of life. It's not necessarily about being a bad person. It's driven by a deep-seated human need for acceptance and esteem. We want to belong, and we believe that presenting a better version of ourselves will help us achieve that. Then we have the lies told for self-preservation. This is about avoiding punishment or negative consequences. A child who breaks a vase might immediately say, "It wasn't me," to avoid getting into trouble. An employee who missed a deadline might blame a technical glitch rather than admitting they procrastinated. These lies are born out of fear. The fear of getting yelled at, getting fired, or damaging a relationship can be a powerful motivator to bend the truth. When we feel cornered or threatened, our brains can switch into a protective mode, and lying can feel like the easiest or only way out of a difficult situation. It's a defense mechanism, plain and simple. Now, let's talk about the cognitive load of lying. Lying is actually hard work for your brain. When you tell the truth, you're simply recalling a memory. It's a relatively straightforward process. But when you lie, your brain has to do several things at once. First, it has to suppress the truth. Second, it has to invent a plausible alternative story. Third, it has to deliver that story convincingly, monitoring the other person's reactions to see if they're buying it. And fourth, it has to remember the lie so it can maintain the story later. That's a lot of mental juggling. This is why liars sometimes give themselves away. They might hesitate. Their story might have inconsistencies. Or they might avoid eye contact because their brain is too busy managing the lie to focus on normal social cues. It's cognitively demanding, and the more complex the lie, the more likely it is that cracks will start to show. So how does lying develop? We aren't born liars. Research shows that the ability to lie is actually a developmental milestone, closely linked to something called theory of mind. This is the ability to understand that other people have their own distinct thoughts, beliefs, and perspectives that are different from your own. Toddlers are brutally honest because they haven't developed this yet. They think everyone knows what they know. But around the age of 3 or 4, kids start to realize they can have information that their parents don't. This is when the first, often clumsy, lies start to appear, like the classic Cookie Monster scenario where a child with chocolate all over their face denies eating any cookies. It's a sign that their cognitive and social understanding of the world is becoming more sophisticated. They're learning to navigate the social world by managing information. On the darker side of the spectrum, we have pathological or compulsive lying. This is different from the everyday lies we've been discussing. For a pathological liar, lying is a habit, a reflex that happens almost without conscious thought. They lie frequently and often for no apparent reason or benefit. The lies can be big or small, but they are a consistent part of the person's interaction with the world. This type of lying is often associated with personality disorders, such as antisocial personality disorder or narcissistic personality disorder. It's not just about avoiding trouble or making yourself look good, it's a deeply ingrained behavioral pattern. For these individuals, the line between truth and fiction can become incredibly blurred, and they may even start to believe their own fabrications. It's a complex condition that often requires professional psychological help. So what can we do if we suspect someone is lying to us? It's tricky. There's no single foolproof sign like Pinocchio's nose. As we mentioned, people used to think that looking away or fidgeting were dead giveaways, but science has shown that's not always reliable. Honest people can be nervous, and skilled liars can look you right in the eye. Instead of looking for a single cue, experts suggest paying attention to clusters of behaviors and inconsistencies. Does their story change when they tell it again? Are they overly defensive or providing way too much detail for a simple question? Asking open-ended, unexpected questions can also be effective, as it forces the person to think on their feet and can make it harder for them to maintain a fabricated story. But here's a final thought. While we're often focused on catching liars, maybe it's also worth thinking about why we lie ourselves. Understanding our own motivations, whether it's to be kind, to protect ourselves, or to boost our ego, can teach us a lot about our values and our fears. Honesty is a virtue, but the psychology of lying shows us that the truth about the truth is a little more complicated. It is a dance between our internal world and the external social reality we all have to navigate. Lying is a part of the human condition, a complex, multifaceted behavior that reveals just how intricate our minds and our societies really are. Thanks for watching and exploring the fascinating world of human psychology with us today. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into what makes us tick. See you in the next one.